Hi everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. I am down in beautiful Key West, Florida. I'm a Vermont boy, and this humidity is quite different, but it's very, very nice. Just here for the night, and we're here for a specific purpose. We are going to see Robert the Doll. We came down from Fort Lauderdale, and we're down here on a trip for our anniversary. We came down here specifically to see Robert. Now, if you don't know about Robert, he's considered the world's most famous haunted doll. He was made around the turn of the 20th century by the Steiff Company in Germany. And he was given to Robert Eugene Otto as a birthday present when Robert Eugene was just a little boy. Now, Robert Eugene gave the doll his name, Robert. And from that point on, he started going by Gene. So, for the purpose of the story, that's how I refer to each one. Gene is Robert, the actual person. Robert would be Robert the doll. So, growing up, Gene, I'm going to end up confusing myself on this, he would constantly, when things would happen around the house, his big thing, little mischievous things, was Robert did it, Robert did it. That was kind of the, I guess for lack of a better term, catchphrase, Robert did it. So, that's kind of how he grew up. Incredibly attached to this doll. They were inseparable all the way until Gene passed away. Gene was a very eccentric artist, and he would actually place Robert out a window. Place him in a window overlooking the street while he did his work. One of the houses here. So Gene married to Annette Parker. Now, Annette hated Robert. And legend has it, Robert tormented her, various things. I've heard stories from him locking her in a closet. I don't know how true this story, so I don't know. But she hated him. So Gene passed in 1974. And, sorry, I'm out on a deck and there's a lot of traffic. Annette sold their house, but one of the conditions was Robert went with the house. And they sold that to Myrtle, let's see, what's her name? Myrtle Reuter, I believe I'm saying that right. Now Myrtle kept that doll, Robert, until 1994. She donated it to a museum, saying the doll was haunted, she wanted nothing to do with it, she had enough, and got rid of it. So she had the doll for 20 years in the house. Myrtle passed a few months after donating the doll. So eventually, the doll made its way to the East Fort Martello Museum here in Key West. Staff has reported everything from fingerprints on the inside of his glass to Robert moving to giggling, everything. So there are rules. Electronics failing too. When you talk to Robert, there are rules. You need to be polite. No tapping on the glass, no insulting him. You need to introduce yourself. You need to ask permission before you take a photo. You need to be respectful. And you need to say goodbye. Now, those who have not followed those rules, it's said that there's a curse. Second. big chunk. It said that there's a curse. The museum has gotten upwards of 1,000+ letters over the years from people who didn't follow the rules, begging Robert for forgiveness. So, whether there's something to that or not, I plan on following every rule. But it's pretty interesting. I've been interested in Robert ever since I can remember. So, really, really curious to see him. Just want to say a couple things real quick. As with all my videos, but especially the ones that I do, like my Bigfoot one and this one, any rude comments, any rude comments will be just deleted. I'm not going to get into a big debate. I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to have just rude and insulting comments. I just delete them. I don't care. You don't like it? You don't need to watch it. It's fine. I'm open to differences of opinion. That's fine. We can post those. I would like to give a huge thank you to the executive director of the museums, Michael. Maybe should have done this inside. He gave me special permission to film inside, and I had to seek that permission because they don't allow that for everybody. It's just usually pictures. So thank you very much. And as always, if you like what you're about to see, subscribe, like, and share my videos. It really means a lot. So with that, let's get going. All right, so one of the places I wanted to show you before we went to the hotel, this was Gene's house. And up in that turret room is where Robert used to sit outside of the window. Gene would do his work, and Robert would have him sitting right in that window. And people would walk by, and the stories are they would see Robert move. This was when Gene was an adult. They would see Robert move and always got a creepy feeling of him watching from the window down. So I wanted to show you that before we hit the museum, and let's head over there now. All right, so this is Robert, and the little lion he's holding here is Leo. Now we've already talked to Robert, and we've introduced ourselves, and we've asked permission to take some video of him and to take some still pictures after. Robert was talking to some staff, and I'm going to get some more stories after, so I will talk to them. They don't want to be put on camera, but that's understandable. Their stories, just she saw a shadow person, I believe just the night before yesterday, and he was up right up against the case talking to Robert. Now that sailor suit isn't original to Robert. He had, I believe it was a jester suit on, and that was Gene's. It said that was Gene's sailor suit right there. And anybody that talks to Robert has to ask their permission. His permission for pictures, has to introduce themselves, has to be polite, has to say goodbye. Ever since I can remember, I've been very, very interested in you, Robert. You came here in 1994, and it probably wasn't much longer after that I heard about you. And Robert is in remarkable shape for being probably close to 123 years old. He was very well taken care of. You can tell that he was very well loved throughout his life. you see here, people have left messages for Robert and Leo. Don't want to forget Leo. All throughout the chalkboard. And at one time there was letters plastered around begging forgiveness. But they actually have a screen up now, if you can read those. From people that were disrespectful to Robert. And they're talking about how sorry they are and they wish that he could forgive them, and he wishes that they never did whatever they did, be a tap on the glass, and anyway disrespect him. Now the museum has received thousands of these letters. So, I mean, 1 or 2 or 10 or 20, even 100 you could probably write off as falling into just paranoia or anything like that. But when you receive that amount of letters, you've got to really start to question that there's something to this. That it's not just coincidence or paranoia or attention seeking. Now I happen to very much believe in you, Robert, and in the stories that have happened. If there's anything that you would like to do or say, you are welcome to for us. Or you too, Leo. Leo looks very happy.
He does look happy.
Robert, you look nice and comfortable in your chair, with your feet kicked right up. You can tell that Gene really cared for him, because he is in remarkable shape for that age. Now we are going to try to go on a tour. We're going to go into a little bit more detail tonight. But I don't know if they're going to let us film that, so we'll have to see. So far the museum staff has been amazing, and truly thankful that they gave us time to spend with you, Robert, and to videotape and tell your story. And also to you for allowing us to videotape. This, off the subject of Robert, this is an old Civil War photo from the Union Army. This kind of surprises me, being down in Key West, that it would not be the Confederates, but it's the Union. So it's kind of a history nerd anyway, so everything in here is pretty fascinating to me. Robert, we're going to look around a little bit more. I'm going to stop filming for right now. Try to get some stories from some of the staff. One thing I also wanted to point out, Jeb Bush sent a declaration in honor of Robert's 101st birthday, and that was in October 23rd, 2005, and he was the governor of the state of Florida at the time. And then, if we go over here, President George W. Bush, on October 11th, 2005, sent a letter congratulating him on his 101st birthday. So it's pretty impressive.
be a tour guide with one of the tour companies that came to see Robert, so I got to spend a lot of time out here with Robert. And I'm going to tell you a couple of the stories that I have with Robert. One night when I was giving the tour, all of a sudden he picked his legs up, stretched them out, put them right back down. Everybody here on the tour thought that I did something, that I had a remote control. I didn't. He did it himself. Well, I came back and talked to him the next day because I was really scared to come back and I didn't want to do the tours in here anymore. Came back and we had a little conversation so I could make sure that I felt comfortable coming back in because he scared me. And I told him, I said, Robert, I think you'd like me coming in here because I do everything that the court tells me to do, like talk to you, treat you with respect. And if you want me to come back, you better not ever move again. Well, he never ever moved while I was doing tours again until the very last night I was doing tours. He got mad. He had a very, very big temper tantrum. We heard children's laughter coming down from the gift shop. And we also had some ghost hunters on the tour later on that night, and their equipment went crazy. I did not see him move that night, but everybody on the tour did. I had looked down the hallway, and he had moved his legs again. Now, other than him just moving, I've also seen the lion just fall off of the lap of Robert. But one of my favorite stories about Robert is my phone. I used to be tech support for a school system, and he always likes to work with technology. Robert does anyway. One night when I was out here, I was telling him all about the next iPhone was coming out, and this would be the very first time that I didn't get the new phone, because if I worked for the school system, I got the phone when it came out. Well, that night I told Robert, I said, I just can't justify me getting a new phone. Well, what happened? He turned my phone off. It never would turn back on. So I got a new iPhone the next day. I'm trying to think of any other stories I might have for you.
You also told me a story about how he got Leo that I wasn't aware of.
Leo. Robert the dog used to be in the customs house, which is on the other side of the island. They run the lighthouse. They also run this museum here. Leo and Robert were in a big display case with shelving. And Leo was never on his lap. He was on a different shelf in the display case. One night the curator came in, saw that Leo was sitting on Robert's lap. She didn't like the way it looked, so she moved it back over to the shelf. The next morning, he was back on Robert's lap. This happened for about a week, and then the curator said, you know what, Robert, if you want Leo that bad, you can have him. And he's had him ever since.
I wasn't ever aware of how he got Leo.
Yeah. So no one's taking Leo out of his arms now.
Okay, we're back in the air conditioning and it feels pretty good. That was an amazing experience. Really like a dream come true for me to actually see Robert in person. It was great. The staff at the museum was incredible, and a huge thanks again for letting me film. And Raven, who was going through just on a regular tour and was very kind to share some of her stories and let me film her. Thank you so much. That was more than I could ever hope for. One thing we did notice going through, probably a handful of people came through as we went late in the day, but everybody was super respectful. Everybody was asking permission and saying goodbye. Didn't see anybody being disrespectful at all. And those people that didn't know about asking permission, Raven, when we were talking, was very quick to remind them. So she was awesome. And of course, I had to get a couple souvenirs. I'd heard about this book, Robert the Doll, by David Sloan. Super excited to read that. I can't leave without getting a coffee mug. And then some stickers. Bought one for my boys each too. That's got to go in my camera case. That's just awesome. They got a really good gift shop. It's not all Robert the Doll stuff. They've got all kinds of stuff in their gift shop, so it's really cool. I'm going to put a link to that museum in the description, so please, if you're ever in Key West or close to Key West, go check them out. Great place, super people there. Loved it. Am I forgetting anything, hon?
Did you talk about how we're in like the most haunted town?
Yeah.
West?
Key West is like one of the most haunted towns around, but
Did you share the link? Are you gonna share the link to the?
yeah. And we didn't get a chance to really experience any of the other haunted stuff. It's hot, we're tired, we've got a 4-hour trip back to Fort Lauderdale, but I think that's it. If you like what you see, please subscribe, like, share. It means a lot to me. And as I said in my next video, my 500 subscriber giveaway will be coming up pretty soon. So keep those subscriptions coming, and we will see you in the next video.